Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Susan Wickstrand, and this is my MAE artifact analysis for my Capstone project. Over here on the upper right, we are going to go through all of the PLOs, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and discuss how they've been aligned, either I, D, or M. I'm going to go through that in the next slide deck. So let's begin. Here's a little bit of a background about me. I would be what's considered a subject matter expert. I've been a professional artist for over 30 years, and I bring to the classroom a unique set of skills in that I've been able to exhibit my artwork globally. I have some artwork on some TV shows, like Modern Family, and I've also had artwork on apparel for Sanuk footwear and Rip Curl, shoes, bikinis, board shorts, etc. I specialize in painting. I have a Bachelor of Arts Fine Arts degree from USC, and I also specialize in mixed media collage, and I teach learners from age 10 to adults, but I specify mostly in college and higher level learners. So here's our MAE program learning outcomes. I'm going to go through and discuss how each of these align with our artifacts for each course. PLO 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be covered and discussed in detail how they're mastered and achieved. Also, we're going to go through at what level the MAEs have been either introduced, developed, or mastered with each learning artifact. So let's begin. Here is the first course for MAE 610. It's the introductory course for my master's program. The artifact I selected is the practitioner research study for the program. And basically, this artifact aligns with MAE PLO 3. I have it assigned at introduced. I applied practitioner research methods to study and inform instructing my visual arts learners both in the studio and online. As I said, it was listed as introduced. I have up here a little bit of a grid to kind of follow where we are, and that will be for each slide. So demonstration of competence, this course helped me to generate a hypothesis development, identifying, I had selected, project-based learning and graphical design variables. I was able to select an area of interest and find courses that align with that interest, which would be an emphasis in my degree of MSEIT, Master's of Science in Educational and Instructional Technology. So I took a lot of EDT courses, which you will be seeing. For this project, I was able to apply research methods to study and inform my instruction as a visual arts skill-based educator. I also created a digital portfolio to highlight my competencies in each PLO. So here's a sample of the paper here and the plan of study assignment. Moving right along to the next slide. If it'll click. Here we go. Okay. I don't know where my camera went. There we go. Sorry about that. All right. So for the next slide, we have the course EDT 600A called Technology Foundations. The MAE, I assigned to it as PLO 1 and 3 as introduced and developed. You can see here in this little chart, PLO 1 introduced, PLO 3 introduced and developed. For my artifact selected, I chose a professional website that we designed via Google Sites, and I embedded within it a Padlet for assessment. This was my first time creating a website via Google Slides, so I listed it, this project as introductory and developed, and as the slide decks go on, you'll see that the learning increases from introductory to developed to mastered towards the latter courses in my program. Demonstration of competence. This course helped me to apply advanced digital approaches to instruction, integrated advanced assessment via a digital Padlet, which I highly recommend for all educators to get really familiar with Padlet. Very useful tool. Integrate digital technology in teaching, introduction to website creation. That's why it's at introduced. Develop skills to generate instruction via digital media, learning object, my mixed media foundations website. Next slide. Here we go. Okay. I have my EDT, instructional design course, EDT 601. This aligns with the MAE PLO2 and PLO3. It's listed as introduced and developed. This is a different website created than the other one. I have for PLO2 introduced and developed, and PLO3 as introduced and developed. The artifact selected is Google Classroom course module for UCSD Craft Center Visual Arts learners. I went over the alignments. I assigned it as introduced and developed for this assignment for both PLOs, as website creation was not yet mastered. I was still learning quite a bit. But my demonstration of competence is that I designed and built a Google Classroom educator site that can be accessed by all learners. This website creation is something I would do for in-person learning and distance learning. I really think it is such a powerful tool as an educator to have a website and a hub for students to go to, even if, for example, it's where to drive and like a map on where something is, like the UCSD Craft Center where I teach. It's a little tricky to find the classes. So I'll probably create a website for those classes this semester and embed a link and a map to even the classes, something basic like that. For this course, I integrated and designed a custom Padlet over here. And I used it as a discussion board for peers and learners in my class to upload and analyze and evaluate peers' work with instructions here. There's a plus sign at the bottom of that Padlet, and people can upload their visual arts progression, which is really important as a visual arts educator to see the stages and the steps, because there's a lot of beginning, middle, and end in visual arts instruction. So this Padlet allows the learners to post their work in progress and to analyze and evaluate their fellow learners' work. For this, I applied practitioner and UX methods for hierarchy, scaffolding of content, and assessment of learning. Next slide. EDT 605, education, theory, and technology. The artifact selected is Google Arts and Culture Project. We were instructed to identify a new educational technology to the world that we would adopt as educators. And as a visual arts educator, Google Arts and Culture is extremely useful. It's extremely accessible in that it's free, and it can be accessed on any tablet, Padlet, phone, or website. This aligns with MAE PLO1. It's listed as mastered because I dove very deeply. This course helped me to utilize gamification, visual crosswords, virtual tours. I gained confidence in analyzing the site via the 3 frameworks. And these are really important frameworks as an educator. EE, TPAC, SAMI are over here in depth. And that was a deep dive of learning. Also integrate advanced approaches to instruction, assessment, and learning tools and digital skills. So Google Arts and Culture is certainly something that I will use in the future with my learners. It's a very powerful tool, and I really enjoyed this class. Next, we have a little bit less thrilling of a slide visually because it is a course design specification or CDS document. However, it's a very powerful little tool here. I aligned MAE PLO3 as developed and mastered. You'll see over here. So for the CDS document, let's see here. This course helped me to apply in-depth methodologies for analyzing and constructing course design and planning. The CDS document prompts and informs an instructor and educator both for digital and in-person learning. It's a very useful tool. I developed and integrated a schedule for a forward course instruction and mastered the ability to generate lesson structure. Then also we allocated over here development of project roles for others to help us with this for completion of the project, both for traditional and digital learning. Next slide. Aha, this was one of my favorite books, actually, for the course. Insanely simple. I highly recommend anyone involved in instruction or web design to purchase this book. It's by Ken Siegel. The artifact selected is my research paper over here. The alignment, the artifact aligns with the MAE PLO4, applying reflective practitioner research methods in learning science and research. The demonstration of competence, I integrated the current learning research book that I used, one of them, Insanely Simple. The author, Ken Siegel, worked with Steve Jobs, integrating simplicity into high UX design. He worked with Steve Jobs for over 10 years. And then also I dove deeper into application of learning science and theories of Piaget and Dewey's constructivist theories. Super important to know these theories, all of them. And also identified Stevens and Downs' connectivist learning theories, which is a little bit more of a contemporary learning theory. Also very important and very applicable to anything involving technology today. I love this quote from Steve Jobs: good artists copy, great artists steal. We have always been shameless about stealing great ideas. And I love that Steve Jobs considered himself as an artist. And I think in his design of Apple products, that's apparent to everybody, given the success and the easy usability of them. So for my next course, EID 650, Media Rich Instruction, it aligns with MAE PLO1, and it's listed as developed over here in the upper right. The artifact I selected are 2 items from this course, is a storyboard over here and an infographic. Through this assignment, I was able to utilize quality UX design skills for generating a packing tape transfer lesson and a storyboard, which had 9 different frames in the storyboard, and the infographic for my visual arts learners. Demonstration of competence. This course helped me to integrate advanced digital approaches to instruction with use of a custom-made infographic, a very powerful tool, something I will use in the future for all my visual arts learners. And they're pretty fun to make. Then I utilized packing tape transfer storyboard as a digital tool for instruction of visual arts learners. There's 9 frames to this. This also helped greatly with sequencing for recording a lesson. So I had the storyboard propped up with the camera just to stay on track and on pacing for video recording for instruction. Also, I developed a design skill necessary for quality, hopefully visual pleasing and content-rich learning objects. Because I do work in visual arts and teach visual arts, there's so much color in the imagery and what I teach as a painter. So I try to keep the fonts and the text and the other content to a minimum. It's very intentional, almost like an art gallery. You have a white wall in the background and then you want to focus on the image. So I try to delineate very carefully the colors, and even a choice of a lack of color, like a white background, is a choice. So moving right along, slide number 13. Okay, ITL 608 is the course, Design and Process of Teaching. This aligns with MAE PLO4. It's listed as mastered here. Here we have our Sims school. I had never done Sims school, and I dove deeply and took actually some lessons online. And we also had an opportunity to collaborate with a fellow peer, which was great. This artifact aligns with PLO4, and I assigned master to this assignment. This course helped me to group teach, lead, and share a classroom with a fellow MAE peer, which was enjoyable. We met on Zoom together. We are able to respond in real time to a classroom and to the different students here. We can interact and respond directly to learners' questions, cues, and body language. Body language is super important, especially if you have ELL learners or IEP plan learners or 504 plan learners, it's very important to visually cue in on students and their body language. When I teach visual arts, I habitually get up, roam around the classroom, and check in with students. I think this is good for any classroom to read visual cues and body language. Also, I was able to interact with ELL learners and customize instruction methodologies based upon either their IEP or 504 plans, which is listed over here, like in Carla's strengths. And then she had some very high skills, and she would finish assignments, for example, this student early. So I was already kind of prepared to hand her an iPad to progress learning, and so she could do a project independently of the other learners. I highly recommend reviewing all of the students if you're going to do sim school backgrounds and discussing it with your fellow teacher. It's really important to review their profiles and to get a good knowledge of them in advance of instruction. This supported full range of learners and demonstrated equitable access to the lesson, which is, of course, always paramount with every course. In the grading of this, I achieved a good across the board. I don't think there's a higher score than that as it tracks you. There's a grid over here. And I think that was because I spent some time really kind of getting to know the students in advance of instruction best that I could. So next course is ITL 608, Design and Process of Teaching. I aligned it with MAE PLO 2 as developed and mastered. Here we are over here, the D and the M. The artifact selected is the assignment learning map with California standards. So this is a crucial tool for all instruction and all course development and design. There's the 4 boxes here. I kind of thought of them like baseball diamonds. You have to run the bases to do this. And for this demonstration of competence, this course helped me to design and plan instruction based on California standards for public schools. That's over here. And then also integrated principles of learning theories for design of instruction and assessment. Utilize a 4-stage cyclical model to plan, teach, analyze, and reflect during the process of learning and teaching. Now, this learning map is applicable to any subject or any course, and it's extremely helpful. The content, the California content standards that I enlisted, I highlight over here, the list of the standards. And then it was important to integrate equitable access for all learners in the course content. And so there's modifications for different types of learners. So I feel like this was developed and definitely mastered. Here is a favorite lesson. Let's see, excuse me, it's EID 660, Simulated Realities and Learning. I enlisted Nearpod. There's a link in the slide deck. I'll include a link with this assignment. It aligns with MAE PLO 2, and I listed it as mastered. There's a second slide also for this course, but this is the first one. The artifact selected is Nearpod with Andy Warhol, and there's a pop art digital learning experience integrated into the Nearpod. Nearpod is a very useful tool for instruction, analysis, and assessment. This artifact aligns with MAE PLO 2. I was able to apply PO2 by designing a custom-made Nearpod 30 slide deck interactive lesson and activities for my visual arts college learners. Let's see, the demonstration of competence, I listed it as mastered, as highly developed. It's a highly developed learning experience. This course helped me to integrate a Muzylane custom design quiz with assessment, which will be in the next slide, but it's integrated here into the Nearpod lesson. Propose open-ended questions for learners to apply higher reasoning skills and improve deeper learning. So some of the open-ended questions are more ideal for college learners than, say, elementary school or K through 4 learners. The open-ended questions are really important, like I said, for those more advanced students. Also generated a custom digital drawing exercise over here. So within the integration of this digital tool, you can interact with it and do some drawings, customize interactive learning experiences. There's several built in. I love that learners can submit their responses through any mobile device, laptop, or tablet. I think accessibility is a super crucial thing I've learned from this program, whether it's in person to hybrid technology into the instruction of the classroom, or if it's virtual, to have methodologies for students to connect with other learners. So depending on which angle you're approaching, it's good to know how to be adaptable to those platforms. Also utilize multiple modalities of digital instruction for my visual arts learners. So the next slide, under the same course, EID 660, Simulated Realities and Learning. This aligns with MAE PLO 1, also listed as mastered. I dove deep into Muzylane. Hadn't used it, hadn't heard of it. They use it a lot in training for medical or science or business. But the Muzylane, I generated a quiz called Modern Art Masters. It's Pop Art Princess. Basically, to generate a quiz assessed and scored. It lists the different artists and then facts, and then it kind of scrambles them or shuffles the deck, and you have to line them correctly to score on it. This artifact aligns with MAE PLO 1. I was able to apply PO1 by designing a custom-made Nearpod interactive lesson, and then activities for my visual arts college learners then integrate this Muzylane quiz into the Nearpod lesson plan, which was the slide previously. I assigned mastered justification based upon the creation of learning artifact as an educational and digital tool. Demonstration of competence. This course allowed me to create more in-depth instruction, integrating a Muzylane custom design quiz with assessment and tracking of students' progress. Interactive lesson followed by interactive assessment in the digital tool. Learners can interact and submit responses through any mobile device or laptop. So once again, that accessibility is crucial. It also scores learners. They can retake the quiz as many times as they would like without penalty, and those are adjustable in the settings. I like that because it's a good way to learn and revisit things. Okay, so for MAE 670, this sounds very familiar as we took this course recently. Applied practitioner research and custom study. For this, I assigned MAE PLO 3 and as mastered. As we're crescendoing to the end of my program and my slide deck, there's a lot more M's and a lot more D's, and the beginning, a lot of I's. So for this artifact selected was a practitioner research proposal. This artifact aligns with MAE PLO 3, applying practitioner research methods to propose a proposal for further study of instruction. I assigned mastered as a development of justification for further research topics based upon 5 studies that were researched, charts and graphs analyzed, included, and adapted. Demonstration of competence. This course helped me to construct a fully developed research practitioner question and proposal, identifying independent variables as project-based teaching and dependent variable as graphical design skills in college learners. Application of aggregate data with the summary table, reviewing the 5 research studies, and highlight my competency in PLO 3. Also, I will note, here's the charts, here's the reference page. This was all done in APA 7th edition, which I think by now, at the end of the program, I may hopefully have memorized or close to memorized, but man, not having taken classes, college level classes for 20 plus years, I was at a big disadvantage not knowing about Padlets, discussion boards, or APA 7th edition. So I've learned quite a bit. And then also the proposed timeline is here. Moving on to the last key slide in the deck, MAE 670 app practitioner research custom study. This is the updated grid from the MAE 600. I have it 610. I have it as mastered under PLO 4. I'm going to put that right there. So PLO 4 mastered artifact analysis plan, a study, and PLO alignment artifacts. As we can see here, the project learning objectives 1 through 4 are listed. I have accomplished all of them through all these different learning artifacts, and then across the top are all the courses taken. The beginning is the bookend, the MAE 610, and then at the end we have the MAE 670, and in between I sandwiched MSEIT degree courses to learn about Masters of Science in Educational and Instructional Technology. And I feel well seasoned now to teach either in person or virtually for hopefully a university as an art instructor. Demonstration of competence. This course helped me to generate a completed plan of study with artifact alignment and PLOs, as we discussed here. Mastery of in-depth alignment achievement, diving deeper than the MAE 610 introductory courses, reflecting on learning experiences versus simply reading about learning objectives as in 610. A vast difference between the two. Fine-tuned instruction to suit MSEIT emphasis, as stated, Masters of Science in Educational Instructional Technology, and then select an area of interest, which I covered in the courses that align with that. So it's nice to be at this last slide, and then I have a little bit of a kicker bonus one. If it will switch to that, hopefully. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, there I am teaching. Here's some of my students' work, some of my learners, here's some artwork. Here's me teaching at UCSD virtually. Some MAE program highlights. These are self-explanatory. All of these things I had never done previously. I had never done Zoom. I'd never even done a Zoom class. Little did I know I'd be teaching actually via Zoom for UCSD to 50 students right as I began this course. So anyways, I think it's important to embrace technology. I think technology keeps us young. And I think it's really important to learn all the important principles of education and all the different learning theories, because they really apply dual track, either in-person or online instruction. And quality instruction is quality instruction, and making education equitable for everybody is oh so important. And it's absolutely a sweet spot for me. I've been very lucky as an art educator to have wonderful experiences with my learners and to sometimes discover a budding Picasso or Van Gogh, as in this student down here, Oris. No one wanted to teach this kid, and he ended up realizing he knew how to paint, a light bulb moment. And those are those sweet spots as an educator that we really love and feel important, valued, and needed, when we can see a light bulb go on in a student after we teach them some skills. And he didn't know, this student didn't know that he could paint. And I have photo released, by the way, to use all these images. These are all mine. And anyway, so long story short, Oris's parents ended up turning their garage into an art studio, music to this instructor's ears. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a couple things. I would like to thank all my professors for all their instruction and patience with an older student who's a subject matter expert and who has never graded or assessed anything as an art instructor. I hope to be doing that as a college learner. And I hope you've enjoyed watching this presentation. Thanks so much. Bye.